So this, I already told you a lot about the aim of our study. We investigated task-related coherence changes for different EEG frequencies and during the process of working memory. And then we also tried to determine if there are some possible differences between maintenance only or rehearsal in working memory, and then also compared to manipulation processes, which was already in the previous lecture, this dichotomy between two. So the general hypothesis could be drawn from the data that I showed you before. So we expected increases, at least in frontal-posterior coherence, most generally speaking, in working memory tasks or conditions. And then we also, according to this role, that prefrontal cortex should have, at least by some of the studies, then we also predicted that maybe we should get for manipulation task, which includes central executive function, that we should get more coherence increase in frontal prefrontal area, also interhemispherically, so bilateral coherence increase. So these are some data of participants. We used we recorded 11 healthy right-handed volunteers, and then the average number of set repetition for each task was 38. And we also, each of the participants had 10 minutes of training, because it's also used in other studies, so that they get used and they solve this paradigm accurately. Approximately everybody then accurately, the results are not different as in terms of successfulness of the task solving. So these are some technical characteristics which I will just leave out, but then important is that we used also this new thing that we didn't do before, but it shows that it's quite necessary. This is EEG measurement. That means that we can later correct the EEG signal and analysis by EEG correction, because these movements of the eyes and potentials which are induced here around the eyes by eye movements and blinking then influence all the other signals on the head, and this can be an artifact source, so we have to do that. The presentation of a paradigm was done in presentation software also. And we used some extra electrodes. This is prefrontal, and these are some other longitudinal axes. This is how it looks like. So the paradigm, I won't talk about that a lot, because it was very similar to the one that they used in fMRI study that was in previous lecture. So the one thing that I want to mention is that we made the sequence of these different tasks. One was weight control task, and then memorize and reorder task. The sequence was alternating coincidentally, so it was not in the blocks. And we then analyzed just these periods which are shown down there. So now first the stimuli represented always, and then the instruction followed, and then there was this retention or fixation period which we analyzed when the subjects had to do what they were ordered, and then in the end this was answered according to the sequence of according to the position of a certain letter in the sequence which was previously presented. So in the reorder test, they had to reorder the presented stimuli in the alphabetical order, so this was manipulation. Here you have to watch for this weight condition, which is supposed to be control condition, but there was also presented this the set of letters. So, but then the subjects were told to somehow ignore, disregard these letters which were presented and just fixate on the cross. So they didn't actively rehearse this sequence, which they did at the memorized condition. So this was data analysis, which was done on Borland-Delphi program with EEG artifacts correction, and also on MATLAB software, the second analysis, but without EEG correction, to compare both of these things. So the analysis was done on this retention or fixation periods, which I showed you before. This is the procedure which I will leave out for the calculation of power spectra and coherence. This is how the signal looked like, and then we just chose these retention periods for analysis. And there was EEG calibration task at the beginning, then 10 minutes training, and then these different 3 basic different task types were then